How many of us have found ourselves in a time where we've spent an entire day completely entrenched and absorbed in the work at hand in front of us, mistaking it, this hyper focus for flow, without once checking in to see how we're actually feeling, right? And it's not until hours later that we realized that we haven't moved, we haven't taken a bathroom break. I've found myself there more times than usual. My mouth is dry, my head is light, my blood pressure is spiked, and I realize I haven't eaten, I haven't moved, I haven't even taken a full breath, right? And I'm running on empty and calling it productivity. This is not uncommon, and especially for women. We have learned to navigate our lives from the neck up and to disassociate from that deeper knowing of our bodies in the name of productivity and survival. But there's a cost. There's a cost to constantly overriding this internal nudge within us. There's a cost to silencing the tension in our chest and the tightening in our gut and the fatigue that we feel. And the cost is you. In most traditional leadership models, they're built inside systems that prioritize the logical mind, the extraction of information. And these models emerged over time from industrialized, patriarchal, and often militarized frameworks, right? Where the body was something to be managed and overcome or pushed through. We've learned to lead like machines, function like machines, and our bodies became something to suppress. And now, this disconnection, it begins early on, especially for girls, right? We're taught that our desires that we feel, they're dangerous, that feeling deeply is a liability, that our sensuality and our longing, even our curiosity about our bodies are met with shame or silence. And we've learned to suppress our urges, to disconnect from pleasure. And that disembodiment, it follows us into our relationships and in our marriages and in our work and how we work. And in these models, you don't feel your way through things. You push through, you perform. But when we return to the body, we reclaim this inner knowing, this inner authority, the kind that doesn't need validation to know what's true. See, embodiment restores access to the full range of who we are, our intelligence, our emotions, our sensations, our intuition. And it allows us to navigate and move and lead from the truth that lives in our bodies. So, how do you know when you are not connected with your body? When decisions need to be made, how often do you ask, how does my body feel right now? What is my nervous system telling me about this decision I'm about to make? Can I hold right now? Rest. Be in this moment. Feel what I'm feeling without feeling guilt. The body is the first place we experience truth. It's where our intuition speaks. But because the body can't be easily measured or controlled, we don't pay attention to it, right? And for many women, especially Black women, the body has historically been this site of harm and surveillance. So we've learned to leave it behind in order to survive. Yet the irony is that every instinct, every cue, tingling that we feel, every moment of insight, it comes from the body. We felt it, but we choose to ignore it. If we're not home inside ourselves, we're leading and we're moving on autopilot. Disembodiment in leadership doesn't always look dramatic, right? In the way you might be thinking. Often it's quite subtle. Um, it becomes this rhythm. It becomes so normalized that we don't even notice it. Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, the author of Women Who Run with the Wolves, she writes that the body is a sensor. It picks up information and it transmits it to the soul. So the body remembers, the bones remember, the joints remember, even our little fingers remember. Memory is lodged in pictures and feelings in the cells themselves. So here's some signs that you might be leading from a place of disconnection. You make decisions quickly to avoid discomfort rather than just slowing down to feel what's aligned. This has been a big thing for me right now. Feeling into what it is that I not need to be doing, but want to be doing. And letting that lead me towards that inspired action. You ignore fatigue or pain. You push through just one more thing, even when your body is asking for rest. I have done that too many times to remember, and by the time I'm just spent when I'm done. And I will tell you, you don't give forth your best work in a situation like that. You over rely on logic and strategy, even when something in your gut says that isn't right. Listen, I have a problem. I'm not going to get into the astrology of the Mercury and Capricorn and how that is in my natal chart and how that constantly has me at odds between my logical mind and what I feel with inside. But that's a balance for some of us, a balance for some of us working in masculine spaces, but yet we feel that feminine side wanting to be a part of that and helping to balance both the masculine and feminine as well. You override your intuition. You're always second guessing the very knowing that comes naturally for you because you feel like it won't be accepted. It won't be validated. People won't understand. So you suppress it and override it. And you're constantly in your head, replaying conversations, planning responses, calculating your next move, really noticing the ground beneath your feet. That mental loop of how things should be, how they should play out, how they should have been. I'm guilty of that. When we lead from disconnection, we lose that wisdom of the body, that very part of us that knows before we can even name it. And we lose a chance to lead from a place that is really responsive and grounded and fully alive. Embodiment is the practice of returning to those parts of ourselves in that felt experience. It is the process of becoming present enough to hear the body's signals, to trust the signals, and to allow its wisdom to inform how we lead. Now, for those who have spent years or lifetimes overriding their inner knowings, this can feel unfamiliar and deeply liberating at the same time. So to connect this reconnection to yourselves, before we move on, I want to invite you to pause for just a moment. And I want you to come home to yourself. I'm just going to take you through a quick exercise. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are right now, take a slow, intentional breath and let your shoulders soften. Unclench your jaw and feel the weight of your body where it touches the chair or the floor. Now bring your attention inward, not your thoughts, but to the sensation. Is there tension anywhere? Is your breath shallow or deep? What emotions are quietly lingering beneath the surface? Place your hand over your heart or on your belly. Don't analyze, don't try to fix anything. Just be with what is and just notice. This is the practice of embodied leadership. This is the practice of embodied feminine leadership. It begins with presence, with pausing, and with listening. It doesn't need to be perfect, doesn't need to be planned. You just need to be here in this moment. Dr. Tarari Trent in The Awakened Woman says, we cannot divorce the mind from the heart, or the heart from the body, or the body from the sacred. We are whole. We were always meant to be whole. Embodied feminine leadership originates from within the body, from the quiet intelligence of intuition. It challenges all of the paradigms of leadership that have long, been held over us through logic, over feeling, strategy over wisdom. Feminine energy in its most integrated form is not a trait or a behavior. It's power. And it speaks in the language of presence, the ability to hold space and to be rooted in the now, and intuition, this deep knowing that transcends logic, fluidity, adapting without losing form or center, and magnetism, the power to attract through alignment. This leadership is not soft in the way that society trivializes softness. It's fierce and discerning, and it requires resonance. And when embodied, it becomes this living model of leadership that heals nations and transforms lives. The resistance to feminine leadership is often built on a misunderstanding, really. There are these myths that have shaped how women have learned to lead, and it's often in ways that are disconnected from our bodies and our deepest truths. Myths like feminine leadership is passive or weak. Feminine leadership means always being soft. Feminine leadership doesn't produce results. This one is perhaps one of the most deeply internalized myths, that what is feminine must prove its worth through masculine means. Yet what feminine leadership offers is sustainability. It is healing. It is nurturing. It is growth. It is power. It builds relationships and ecosystems that are just deeply rooted in meaning. Every leader carries a distinct energetic signature. Some lead through vision, others through healing, some bring disruption, Others bring cohesion. Embodied feminine leadership is not about fitting in this mold, but it's about recognizing and reclaiming one's own essence. So when the body is recentered in the leadership conversation, then it becomes possible to notice where disconnection has happened, where it's taken root. To track when decisions are made from a sense of urgency instead of a place of truth. Recognizing your leadership essence, it's not about this new identity, right? It's about returning back to the one that's always been there beneath everything that you have learned, all of the models, this system that we're watching that is collapsing in front of us. It is calling for the divine feminine, the healed feminine, to rise up and to lead from embodiment is to lead from the truth that lives within our bodies. Now, if you're ready to explore your leadership essence through a feminine embodied lens, the Wild Woman Leadership Portal offers practices and reflections and a community that's designed to support you in returning to your sovereignty. Reach out to me if you'd like more information about how you can be a part of that journey. Until next time.